guys, it's Steph. Welcome back to my main channel. So I really like story times and I find myself watching them a lot. Why am I doing this a lot? And I thought it'd be interesting to do a story time about how my driving instructor made me cry when I was younger. I was a really petty 15-year-old, so I'm just gonna do that as a disclaimer because I was super petty. And yeah, let's get into the video. So what happened was I was at 15 years old and I just got my permit and my mom was like, okay, we're gonna get you right into driving school. And I don't know if you guys know this from other videos, but I have a visual learning disability, so it makes it a little bit harder for me to process things and understand things, especially when driving. So basically my visual learning disability makes it harder for me to analyze certain lines and how do I describe it? Certain lines and colors and stuff, and kind of signs and just arrows. It's all that fun stuff. So it was super. So it was my first lesson and I went to this regular driving school. So what happened was she came to my house and she picked me up, and the first thing she did is have me drive around the neighborhood, and I was so nervous to do that because I was really shy, and we didn't know this, but I actually had hella driving anxiety, but we had no idea about this. We wouldn't know anything because I never really showed any signs of that. But what happened was I was put into the car and she just basically told me to just drive out of the driveway and just see how I do. So homegirl didn't know what she was doing, so I was playing Mario Kart. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just woo. So I was trying my best over here, did not really know at all what was going on, how to operate a car. And I didn't really know about the gas pedal. I knew how to do the gas pedal, but I didn't know if you press it really hard, you'll go super yeah, I don't know why I didn't know any of this, but I was reversing out of my driveway, so somehow I managed to do it. You know what, proud of myself. So I pulled out of my driveway with the driving instructor, and she seemed pretty nice. We were having some good conversation. She took me on a loop or two around the neighborhood, and then she's like, we're going out. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, we're going out into the road. And I was like, okay, what? So she's like, let's just swap and then we'll swap again when we get to the part I want you to drive. And I was like, okay. So we swapped and she drove out past my neighborhood to this little area where it was pretty clear, and she just wanted me to drive around and get a feel for the wheel. Oh, that rhymes, but it's okay. But she wanted me to get a feel for what was going on. So I switched with her again and I started driving, and I was like, you know what, this is not that bad, but my visual cues were a little bit off because I started drifting a little bit, and I didn't know I was drifting. I was a new driver, and that happens to any new driver, first of all. Then second of all, have a visual learning problem. So she was kind of why are you drifting? And I was like, I don't know, help me. So she told me to look at certain parts of the trees or something. I was just this, what am I doing? It's I'm looking up at the trees and I'm just driving. It was an interesting time. So I'm doing this and she's like, okay, you're doing great, this is awesome. And I was like, thank you so much. She's like, just add some more speed. So I'm adding speed, I'm doing the turns, and then I don't know, she said something to me super quickly. She was just like, wait, look out. And I was like, what? And I stopped really quickly, and I was on the grass. And I started driving on the grass. I think I was really freaked out. She was like, why are you driving on the grass? And I was like, you told me to stop because something was coming my way. And she was like, yeah, there was a squirrel. You almost hit it. And I was like, I didn't see a squirrel. And then she was like, yeah, it was there. And then I was like, okay. She's like, it actually wasn't. That was a test. And I was like, are you kidding me? What? So she tested me and I obviously failed. But it was so early in the game. Honestly, why would you test me that early? Didn't know what I was doing. So she yelled at me for that, of course, because why not? Just yell at Steph Day. Let's do it. So she yelled at me for doing that, and I was very emotional. I started tearing up a little bit, and I was in the grass, and I was I didn't know what to say to her. I was just so embarrassed. We were just literally sitting in the grass, and she was screaming at me because I pulled over, which is the right thing to do in a situation like that. When you think you hit something, you pull over, you don't just run. So good job, Steph. But I didn't know that. I didn't know anything. I was a new driver. It was my first day driving, and I was getting shit on. I was literally getting shit on for that. So I'm getting all these comments from her, and I'm like, can you just take me home? Please. So I'm just making a scene, I'm being extra. I start crying, and then she's like, just switch with me. And then we start driving back home, to my house, and she's like, I think there's a problem with the car. And I was like, really? Is there? Okay. So we have to pull over again. I'm stuck with this lady who just yelled at me for 10 minutes. And she's like, yeah, I think you broke it. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you hit the brakes so hard, I think you broke something in the car. I was like, okay then, like, whatever. So weird. She was just doing the most in that situation. So finally she gets her, like, stuff together, and she's like, you know what, like, everything's fine, we can just drive you home, and like, whatever. So then she drives me home, and like, my mom's like outside, she's like, oh, like, how was it? And I was like, I can't talk about it, like, I just don't want to talk about it. Like, I have, like, my mascara running down my face, my old makeup from, like, when I was 15. I'll insert a pic when I was 15 to get, like, an idea of what it looks like, you know, like, this awesome 15-year-old. But I'm an emotional mess. I was an emotional mess when that happened. And my mom felt so bad for me because she knew that, like, I had the visual processing issue, but she had no idea I had this anxiety. Like, I didn't know either. And then I went into the house, and my mom and the lady are talking, like, I just hear them talking, and then I'm like, Mom, how'd it go? And she's like, I don't think we're gonna use them again. I was like, great, that's awesome. Not gonna use that driving school. And so yeah, that is a story about how my driving instructor made me cry. And yeah, I actually had a really good driving instructor when I got my, like, newer one, and he was specialized in working with kids who had anxiety and different types of learning barriers of driving. And honestly, like, it's nothing to be ashamed of because everyone gets on the road at a different time. So, like, at the end of the day, I drove and I thrived. I still drive sometimes. Don't have a car anymore. Nothing bad happened. I just don't have a car anymore. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little story time about the time I yelled at for my driving instructor. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Well, why do I keep doing that? I will see you guys soon. Bye.